After a tumultuous season 13, it looked like Trixie would be leaving Call the Midwife for good, but fans can rejoice because Helen George's character isn't going anywhere. Trixie has been part of the show since the pilot episode aired in 2012. A British period series, Call the Midwife has delivered 13 gripping seasons of medical drama, as the staff of Nonotus House, including nuns, doctors, and nurses, fight to save the lives of their patients. For her part, nurse Trixie Franklin, later Aylward, keeps the series fresh and light with her outgoing, charming personality. For much of Call the Midwife, Trixie has been unlucky in love. She breaks off her engagement to Tom Hereward in Season 4 after he's reassigned to a Newcastle parish, and in Season 6, Trixie ends her relationship with Christopher Dockrell out of concern for his struggling daughter, Alexandra. Several seasons go by without Trixie having much of a romantic life, but that all changes when she and Matthew Aylward begin seeing each other. Trixie and Matthew get married in the Season 12 finale, but things are anything but happily ever after for Lady Aylward in Season 13. Trixie was rumoured to be leaving Call the Midwife because she followed Matthew to New York. Matthew left England after facing financial ruin. Matthew Aylward and Trixie Franklin standing at a cafe in Call the Midwife. Call the Midwife Season 13 finds Trixie in a predicament as she struggles to keep a balance between her professional life as a nurse and being Matthew's wife. In Episode 4, distraction from a conflict with Matthew causes Trixie to mess up at work and endanger the life of a new mother. Things go from bad to worse when Matthew informs her that he's lost his access to the family fortune, having driven the company he inherited from his father into debt and been subsequently removed from the board. On the brink of financial ruin, Matthew decides to move to New York without Trixie to pursue an opportunity he hopes will see his wealth restored. Trixie is devastated at her new husband's departure and turns to sleeping pills to help her cope. This leads to a dramatic confrontation with George, her brother, who urges her to go be with her husband in New York. In the end, Trixie takes George's advice while George is being a good brother and looking out for his sister. This would have been a terrible exit for Trixie. A fan-favorite character, Trixie has had no easy time of it throughout the series, facing heartbreak and addiction. What's more, is that Matthew has proven himself to be a terrible husband, and for Trixie to leave Call the Midwife for him would be devastating. But Matthew did say the move would be temporary, leaving a flicker of hope that Trixie will, in fact, return to Poplar. Trixie actress Helen George confirmed she's part of the Call the Midwife Season 14 cast. Call the Midwife's makeup supervisor shared BTS footage of George. If Trixie's not permanent move to New York was not enough to assuage fans that she'll be back for Call the Midwife Season 14, the fact that Helen George has confirmed it on Instagram definitely is. Earlier in 2024, George reshared a post by Call the Midwife makeup supervisor Mariella Spoto, and captioned it, "Series 14 awaits, at calthemidwife.official." Spoto's post was a clip of George being filmed in a previous season of Call the Midwife, and her full caption was, "The knowledge that George is a delight to work with is just as wonderful as the news that Trixie will be back in Call the Midwife Season 14. Hopefully, the upcoming season will be much easier for the new Lady Aylward." What will happen in Call the Midwife Season 14? Trixie's status with Matthew will be explained as Nonotus House rings in the 70s. Nurse Barbara, Charlotte Ritchie, Sister Bernadette, Laura Main, and Trixie, Helen George, in Call the Midwife. With Trixie's departure for New York being the biggest cliffhanger of Season 13, and George confirmed to return for Season 14, the state of Trixie and Matthew's marriage will definitely be a major storyline. As for the other residents of Poplar, they will be ringing in a new decade. Call the Midwife's next Christmas special will take place in 1969, so it will be 1970 when Call the Midwife Season 14 starts. This was a period of much social upheaval and huge economic disparity in England, which will undoubtedly affect everyone's favourite Call the Midwife characters, including Trixie.